Hello, welcome back to Just Roll It Already. I am Daryl, and welcome to this third day of doing the January New Year's challenge that I've set forth for myself. I was originally going to be doing, the top five RPGs, very generic kind of thing, and or maybe adding in there the top five least favorite RPGs I've ever played. But I thought, no, that's too easy. I'll do that when I run out of ideas. But as much as you guys would love to hear me talk about something that I hear a lot of people talk about, but I digress. Today's topic, I'm sure you guys read in the description, is actually talking about the implications of tropes. Now, the thing that actually got this going is I was having a discussion with my wife before I started recording, and we were actually talking about the ability to predict certain things in movies, like a horror film. Like, oh, yeah, the killer's in the closet or he's under the bed. It's not him. He's not really dead. He's just playing possum. Or, you guys really messed up. You didn't unleash the goddess. You really unleashed the demon, and the demon was being held captive by this old wizard who was killing everybody who got near because he was the only one who could withstand the mind control power, and so on. But mostly what I'm talking about is when you implement a trope. And the fact that people can predict a trope, they often will see something going, oh yeah, that's boring. And as time went on, people running into the same tropes over and over and over again. Kill the dragon, save the princess. Congratulations, you saved the day. Or there's the artifact. There's this. Boom, done. Now, excuse me. I do something that I find enjoyable is that no, not more. Yeah, well, I'll mainly say the thing that I just skipped over for a second. Excuse me for being scrambled. This is the fourth time I've tried to record this, and my program kept on being annoying, so I had to tweak some settings. But getting down to what I was saying, people have started doing twists. Take a trope, turn it on its head, change things around, make it different, make it, intriguing to the group. But this thing kind of has an adverse effect after a while for people because it gets to the point that what happens and what it conditions people for, or players in general, is to expect the obvious always being a trap. This they question everything. They're paranoid. They're distrustful. They're thinking that, oh, this is gonna boom punch me right in the gut. It's like, no. I don't like doing that very much anymore. I've had my heyday of tricking people and doing something funny or something interesting, but that is generally what I like to do is implementing it in a very unique way. Now I'm going to give a discussion about the two things. I'm going to go for and against it. Now, when to use a plot twist, when to use a big reveal. Here, an example of is of original idea that I've done that one of the players loved when it was revealed to him. This happened, and I think I've told this story before on here, but I'm going to reiterate it in a very more simple form rather than spending the entire time talking about it. Is I was playing Eclipse Phase. I was running the game, and I had a group of players, and one of the guys was saying that he was on the search to look for his father, who was demonized by public because he helped create the Titans, which is a program that went rogue and caused the cataclysmic and apocalyptic events that led to billions of being stolen mentally or destroyed. And Earth is gone, society is on the brink of collapse, and everything is starting from scratch, and humanity is on the decline, but they're fighting back to go back up in society, in the world. While there was billions, now there's like millions. Not a big, huge loss, but still it's significant. He went through this whole thing, and he was hunting for his father. He was looking and looking and looking. Thanks to another player who happened to be my wife, when she programmed him and tricked him and planted memories into his head and ideas that he was not aware of. A bunch of secret roles, a lot of, under the table stuff. And normally I like transparency, but in this case it had to be done because the reveal that happened that made everything worth it, everyone's jaw dropping, everyone clap at the end, was because he was his father. He was a copy of himself, mentally changed, implanted memories, feigned glory. All these things that he thought he was doing on himself was really building himself up to literally reboot and remake this man, to make him fix the mistakes that he'd made before, because society was not going to trust him. Nobody's going to know him. He's public enemy number one. And who's going to trust the man who had a helping hand in killing off the human race, or the transhuman race for that matter? And yeah, but when it was revealed that he was his own father, and that everything that he knew was a lie and everything was his own doing, it was the biggest jaw drop everyone had, and nobody suspected it because in the setting it allowed it. That's when I like to sit there and use, a twisted trope. Who expects to be their own dad? In that setting you can, but that was just, some mental backflipping there. And that's a trope that nobody can be expecting it. Or the plot twist thing. But when it comes down to a trope that people often are distrustful about, here's the one that really gets me riled up. The setup. A long time ago, I set up a dungeon of an old temple that got lost. Not destroyed, lost. Sunk into the ground, into these caverns, and nobody knows how it got down there, but it just did. And after a bit, these lost temples and these religious sites that were gone had a bunch of artifacts that were significant to the religious orders that used to be in charge of them, their wards. This definitely got people thinking, oh, well, we got some good old-fashioned dungeon crawls. So I had them go through some caves, fight some goblins, find hidden tracks, and eventually break through a thin stone wall that they found. And lo and behold, there is the church, or the temple, the place of worship. So they go in, and they look around, untouched, pristine, dusty, but for the most part, still in one piece since the day it disappeared. Now, this made everyone suspicious. This made everyone think, I think that there's something fishy here. It's too nice. It's too clean. This is too easy. So, I inadvertently shot myself in the leg with this one. Like, not like, pistol pow pow. I took like a freaking sawed-off shotgun and blew my own foot off with the blunder that was about to happen. The event that I'm about to describe, real life takes 4 hours of this game session. The remaining game session, that was going to be all this other stuff that was supposed to happen, but it had to be put off because I just wanted it to be done. The memories are painful, but here we go. They check every single tile along the way. They won't step on the rug, even though it's never been stepped on, thinking that there's a pitfall. They're stepping pew to pew, checking for traps from the ceiling and so on. The wizard's detecting magical trying to detect magical traps. The only thing magical in the room is actually the candles that are supposed to light when you say a certain word, which I use Latin for luminara, or illuminate, lumos. If you're a Harry Potter fan, we kind of made the joke about that afterwards. They stole the candlesticks in the end, but because they liked that. Um, the rogue was using, like a fine dust powder to look for hidden tripwires. Little invisible translucent wires that you can trip over and activate, and he's looking for them. Nothing. You got people walking around with 10-foot poles and poking about, trying to make sure that there's no traps on anything. You got people looking for pressure switches on the floor, refusing to step on any of the flagstones or any loose stone looking thing. They got everything. Just they're literally like tearing this place apart without tearing it apart. They're going over it with brushes and so on. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh God, just move forward. Every 5 feet they take on a map, they check for traps. They check for this, check, because in the past, they have had killer GMs that have screwed them royally by doing this. They've been slapped around by GMs that have exploited the untouched treasure trove. And when they finally get to the up the dais and making sure that there's no traps, they finally see that there's no traps on the steps. And then the part that happened that was a trope that I did not intend to have happen, but I was found amused. They literally Indiana Jones sandbagged it, thinking that it was going to had a pressure switch holding this religious tome. This is not a pedestal. This is an altar, a place where sacraments and sacrifices as well as prayer is focused upon to this deity. And they look at it as if this thing is going to crush them or the building's going to collapse. No, they pull it off with a sandbag on there, and they're like, they step back and they wait and they wait. Oh, and my goodness, do they wait and nothing happens. And they look over this tome, this book. This book is worthless to anyone but for this religious sect. It isn't made with gold filigree. It's not made from the hide of a dragon or written in an ancient dead language. I mean, yeah, the writing style is archaic, but it's still legible by their standards. They can read it with some difficulty, kind of like Old English to English. Takes some work, but you can get through it. And it's first-hand accounts of religious leaders and witnesses to miracles and, teachings and so on. It's a very rare Bible to these people. And they just wanted this book. That's all they wanted. Everything in the church was just the church stuff. There was no anything of value except, the golden decorative pieces that they found, golden religious symbols, and then, the silver goblets and so on. And it got so monotonously annoying. By the time that they got done and they start leaving, they were like, well, what did we do this entire thing for? And I said, a good question, because you're supposed to just walk up to it, a sealed church that has not been touched forever. And you expect that this place, do you go into your freaking temple or church when you go in to do your prayer, if you're religious, and you sit there and using translucent powder and CSI your way to communion? Because there's no reason to do this stuff. It's a church that sank. End of story. You guys expected more? Yeah, congratulations. That's a killer GM. Next time, I'll just let you guys know that this place has traps, and then you can just find them yourselves. Happy hunting. And that's the thing, is that it's a trope. Certain tropes. I guess the killer GM and the distrustful players are a trope now. And in this hobby, you see all sorts of things. So being able to, in the end, to bring this all home, tropes are fine. Plot twists are fine. But if you overuse these things, trying to outdo yourself, you're going to end up having less fun. I use tropes purposely to just give everyone a joyful time. And it takes a while for me to break a new group in because they realize, oh, he's not going to sit there and drop kick us out a window when we think of something that's obvious or we identify something as a common trope. And yeah, on occasion I'll throw like, a you're your own father kind of thing. But other times I say, this is a sealed church. Nothing's in there besides church stuff. But yeah. Anyways, if you guys have anything to add to this, don't be afraid to talk about it. I think I made this one a little bit longer because of the amount of context that I had to set up for this entire thing. But yes, predictions sometimes can make a game fun when you know you're right, because everyone laughs and raises their hand. And then the part that I know about this game thing is it's a hobby, and gaming is supposed to be fun. It's part of the word, game. Enjoyment, a thing to please yourself and have a good time with. Anyways, I'm Daryl. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow, and I'll let you know if I'll have to end up talking about my least 5 or most 5 favorite RPGs. But that's only if I lose my creativity. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.